Hello, everyone. I'm Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. Thanks so much for joining me on today's Facebook Live, where I'm going to be talking about how to love your liver. And so I'm going to be answering all of your questions about liver function, how to detox your liver, top detox supplements, detox protocols for your liver, and actually I'm going to add top foods for your liver as well. So thanks so much for joining me. And we're going to be, like I said, answering all of your questions. So don't hesitate to leave a comment if you have any questions about how to detox your liver. I'm not leaving here until I answer all of your questions. So today I'm going to be talking about how to gracefully enter into spring with more energy and easier weight loss. The liver is key. And in losing weight, it has to be functioning optimally for that and for digestion. So we're going to be talking about can your liver keep up with all of the toxins in your environment and the top toxins that are destroying your liver, impeding its function, how the liver detoxes the body exactly, like how does all that work? How does detox work? There's phase 1, 2, and 3, and how to keep your liver in fighting shape. So liver flushes 101. Top liver boosting supplements and the top foods also to boost liver function. And so let's talk first about can your liver keep up with all the toxins in the environment today? So our livers are at a disadvantage. It's very, very difficult in today's day and age for the liver to keep up with breaking down and taking out the trash when there's 100,000 different chemicals in the environment with thousands being added every year and dozens of heavy metals. The liver also has to break down fats. It also has to produce cholesterol to repair the body wherever there's damage in the arteries, etc. It also has to produce bile, to digest your fats and remove toxins. So the liver has a big job. And if you're already eating a bad diet that's full of lots of sugar, refined carbohydrates, bad fats, and you're smoking, and you're also, in addition to that, you just have daily exposure to toxins, which the liver has to break down, our livers are at a disadvantage. Our livers cannot keep up with the toxic load, and it gets backed up. So if you aren't able to do all of your work gets backed up. You have stacks of paper like I do right here, like things just get backed up. And then those toxins come out through your skin. Those toxins float around in your blood. So anyone with skin disorders they have acne, lots of blackheads and whiteheads and rashes, those are toxins coming out through your skin because the liver isn't able to process them through your digestive tract. And so let's also talk about some of the top toxins destroying your liver. I have this neat little chart that I've made for you guys. And so first, there's a different classes of toxins. So the liver has to break down heavy metals, pharmaceutical drugs, industrial pollutants, plant toxins also, microbial toxins, xenobiotic compounds like illegal drugs and phthalates and things like that, and endogenous compounds. So let's go over what each of those are. So number one, heavy metals. You have things like, arsenic, lead, mercury, barium, cadmium, and other metals, thallium and cesium, the liver has to break down. Then you have pharmaceutical drugs, anything that is a prescribed medication and non-prescription medications. The liver has to break that stuff down, and people have different reactions to medical drugs, bad or good, because of the liver's ability to break certain things down. Certain people are genetically not able to break down and metabolize certain drugs. They would need much less of it than a person who is able to genetically break something down, and if their liver is capable of breaking that down. So we'll talk a little bit about genetics in a second. And then there's industrial pollutants, diesel fumes, industrial waste like benzene, xylenes, and toluenes. And then there's fluoride added to the water that we all have to break down. Then there's plant toxins like lectins, wheat germ agglutinin. We have aflatoxins, we have mold, we have food allergens that the body has to break down. Then we have microbial toxins like E. coli, Salmonella, Shigella, and other ones. We also have xenobiotic compounds like illegal drugs, organochlorine, organophosphate pesticides, phthalates, which hold scent and color in products. And then we also have phytates, which are also things that are in food like nuts and greens. They kind of like hold all the nutrients in the phytates, and it's a thing that protects plants basically from human consumption. And then we have halides, and then we also have food colorings and preservatives the liver has to deal with. And there's just a whole host of other types of chemicals that the liver has to break down. So let's talk about how the liver detoxes your body exactly. What is this whole process? How does it work? So you have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 detoxification. So the process of detox compromises the sequential actions of 3 families of enzymes and transporters that mediate the metabolic deactivation and elimination of toxic agents. And so we call these processes phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And phase 1 is where we transform fat-soluble products into polar molecules or charged molecules. Phase 2 is conjugation, which we make these compounds water soluble. And then phase 3, you eliminate these toxins into the gut, bile, kidneys, sweat, and hair, which is why we can see these toxins in a hair tissue mineral analysis, or HTMA. And so phase 1 is where we change the fat soluble compounds into more polar or charged molecules. So enzymes from phase 1 are composed of the cytochrome P450 family of enzymes, which are located in the cells. And this super gene family play a dominant role in phase 1 metabolism of drugs and toxins. And so these are mostly found in the liver. And all of these enzymes, or the cytochromes, play an important role in detox of drugs, carcinogens, pesticides, endogenous substances, such as adrenal steroids and estrogenic compounds. The liver has to metabolize and break down excess estrogen and then recirculate it. So the phase 1 enzymes are capable of directly neutralizing some of the toxins that enter the body, but many others are converted into intermediate forms, which are then processed by phase 2 enzymes. And so phase 2 is required to turn these toxins into water-soluble compounds. And these essentially, the enzymes required for phase 2 are located in the cells also, and they promote conjugations of phase 1 products with molecules. So they attach these toxins to glutathione. They attach the toxic molecules to sulfates, or sulfur compounds in foods and supplements that are in onions and egg yolks and cruciferous vegetables, kale, things like that. There's sulfur in those. There's also sulfur in meat, in animal products. There's sulfur containing amino acids in red meats and white meats. That's why you kind of have some gas, some sulfuric smelling gas after you eat those products. That's the sulfur in them, but those help you detox your body. So in phase 2, the body also takes the toxins and attaches amino acids like glycine and taurine to those as well. Taurine, again, is a sulfur-containing amino acid. There's no taurine in the vegan diet, so vegans are at a disadvantage for detoxification for that reason. And xenobiotic substances or toxins all are alternatively modified by methylation and acetylation processes prior to their phase 3 elimination. So phase 3 involves elimination of toxic substances from the body. That's where we take out the trash. And this process necessitates the utilization of transporter proteins that are located in cell membranes throughout the liver, the kidneys, the gut, and other tissues. And so in phase 1, 2, and 3, things can go wrong genetically. There's 6,750 coding errors for detox genes like MDR1 and over 4,500 coding errors for MRP2 alone. So these are genes that help to create proteins, that help to modify enzymes. And if you have any coding errors for genes in phase 1, that's not going to work well, where you're turning toxins into water-soluble products. Phase 2, you could have coding errors, genetic errors for attaching toxic substances as water-soluble molecules onto antioxidants like glutathione, lipoic acid, and sulfur products. And then in phase 3, you could have coding errors for taking out the trash. So that's why a lot of people have trouble detoxing if they have trouble in any one of phase 1, 2, or 3, or all of them. So usually the sicker an individual is, the more problems they're going to have detoxing, the more genetic errors they have in their ability to detox. And that's why they're sick. They just can't take out the trash. The toxins come in, they can't break them down, they can't take out the trash, so they're not going to be well as a result of that. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about how the liver works exactly, so you have a better understanding of why people can get sick from not being able to detox or their liver not functioning, and then what you can do about it. So we need to really focus, if you want to detox, on enhancing liver function, enhancing the liver's ability to do this very, very huge job is really, really important, because about half the liver's toxins are removed by these transporters, or that are removed by these transporters in phase 1, 2, and 3, are dumped into the bile. And then the remainder of the toxins are dumped into the hepatic capillaries and then into the bloodstream for removal by the kidneys. And so that's why it's so key to take bile enhancing supplements. And then also because, bile is the best binder on the planet. We need lots of bile. We need thin bile to be able to bind on to all these toxins. And then the other half of the equation is we need binders that can bind toxins in the blood and kidneys, because half is processed by the liver, the other half is dumped into the blood for processing by the kidneys. And so that's why it's so important to take binders as well, like my CitraCleanse product, which is a modified citrus pectin. That's an amazing binder. So, so some of the top liver boosting supplements out there, like I mentioned, are my CitraCleanse. You have to have binders. We have to give the liver assistance in absorbing and, binding onto products. So the liver produces bile to bind onto toxins. So we're going to maximize that. And we also have to help out the body and the liver detox by giving it binders, which are like sponges for toxins. And so that's really, really important. And when you take my CitraCleanse product, it's right here. It is called Myers Detox CitraCleanse. We'll give you a link to that in the show notes in a second, in the comments. So that's something that's going to absorb toxins, and then you'll excrete them in the urine through the kidneys. So that's where half of the toxins are that is processed by the liver. Half are processed in the bile, half get into the blood. So you got to do something to clean the blood. And so after you take a scoop of this CitraCleanse, the powder, that's going to stay in your bloodstream for 12 hours, absorbing toxins. So ideally, you want to take about 1 scoop every 12 hours. Optimally, that's great. And then there's also milk thistle oil. So milk thistle oil is amazing because it not only has milk thistle extract, so most capsule supplements are milk thistle extracts, but the actual milk thistle oil by Activation Products, that's a fresh press milk thistle. And so that's going to give you all of the different nutrients, all the different active ingredients and components in milk thistle that help the liver to work better. They help the liver to detox better. Milk thistle is proven in the research to improve liver functioning and facilitate liver functioning. So I love that product as well. And then I also really like Liver Life. That is a supplement by BioRay that has mushrooms in it that help liver function, and it also has milk thistle as well. Love that supplement as well. And then also Dr. Shade's Bitters is another supplement I like, because bitters and bitter herbs, bitter foods, they produce bile. So any kind of bitter foods you eat or bitter supplements that you take, like this liposomal Dr. Shade's Bitters, produces bile. And so bile is the best binder on the planet. So I love the Dr. Shade's Bitters. I take that myself personally. And so I wanted to give you guys a little coupon code to get any of these things that I'm talking about. So to get any supplements to enhance your liver, I'm going to put a little code in here. If you want to get 15% off any of these liver enhancing supplements, you can do so. I just sent you a link there to get a coupon code SPRING15 and a link to our store with all of our liver enhancing supplements that you can grab right now if you want. And so all of these supplements I just mentioned, they're all complementary to each other to help the liver function in different ways. So you can take all of them to enhance liver function optimally. So you can take CitraCleanse, activation products, milk thistle oil, Liver Life, because it has mushrooms in it that are liver enhancing, and Dr. Shade's Bitter to produce bile. So they all kind of do different things, and they work synergistically to optimally enhance liver function. We also have Dr. Shade's Liver Detox Black Box in our store as well. That's an amazing 30-day liver cleanse, which will work also really, really, really well. And so, like I said, I'm going to answer your questions after I'm done with my little lecture here. So let's talk about how to keep your liver in fighting shape. So we're going to talk about coffee enemas and liver flushes. So one of the best ways to mechanically detox your liver is with coffee enemas. I love coffee enemas so much because they help to basically work like a sponge. So just every time you do a coffee enema, you're just wringing out your liver and excreting the liver's toxic contents into the intestines for elimination. It's kind of a simplistic explanation there. But what happens with a coffee enema is you're not just cleaning out your colon, though that does happen, but what you're doing is you're injecting coffee into your colon and your rectum, and the caffeine in the coffee dilates all the millions of capillaries in your liver, and it has like a hormetic effect, or it's actually producing like a stressor on the liver, and then that causes all the capillaries to dilate, and then through the portal vein, that's where the coffee is going through, is through the portal vein from the intestines to the liver. And then the liver will dump its toxins into the intestines for elimination. And this is an amazing way to get your liver functioning better. It can help improve fatty liver. It can help to, to resolve that health issue that millions of Americans suffer from. It can help to ease detox symptoms. If you're on a detox program, you're doing infrared saunas or taking detox supplements, and you just start feeling kind of headachy or nauseated or have pain or whatever your symptoms are, headaches, a coffee enema can relieve that. And so when I'm working with clients, I always tell them, if you start to not feel well doing detox, number one thing to do is a coffee enema. It will relieve your symptoms. And anytime that I'm having any kind of detox symptoms, namely nausea, that's the big thing for me, is I'll get nauseated if I kind of hitting the detox too hard. I'll do a coffee enema and instantly the nausea is gone. If for women that are having cramps during their menses or any other type of pain at all, do a coffee enema, it's gone or dramatically reduced. Anyone with any type of pain, coffee enemas are great for that. But not only that, but there's lots of different benefits to doing coffee enemas. So I'm going to put some links in the show notes here in the comments about how to do a coffee enema, and where to get the equipment. This blog post that I'm putting in the comments will clarify all that and tell you how to do a coffee enema. The first time or two, maybe not so glamorous, maybe problematic while you're learning how to do a coffee enema, but I promise you, you will love coffee enemas. I cannot live without them. I do at least 2 a week. You do not need to do them every single day. I think that's too much for people. Some people that can cause mineral loss. I think just a couple a week is perfect. Just start with 1 per week, but I encourage you to just get started, try one, get your feet wet, dip your toe in the water, and just try 1 or 2. Give yourself a minute to get used to them, get the hang of it. It does take a second. But this blog post will tell you how to do them and where to get the equipment and what coffee I recommend. And so let's talk about liver flushes. So liver flushes is something you can do on it's not something like you do like coffee enemas on a regular basis. This is something you can do every few months. I usually do one about every 3 to 6 months. And I'm going to send you a link to do how to do a liver gallbladder flush. And this is something that will just help you kind of like do an intense flush. And it's a protocol, it's an Andrea Moritz type protocol where you take malic acid on day 1 through 6, and then, or you can drink tons and tons of apple juice, which has malic acid in it also. Drinking apple juice is a great liver flush also. By the way, I do that on a regular basis. I'll just juice some apples and then drink that. And that's a great liver flush because of the malic acid in it. And then on day 7, after you've done that for 6 days, pounding applesauce or taking malic acid pills, 3 capsules a day each, 3 capsules of malic acid a day. On day 7, you drink some lemon juice and apple cider vinegar, and then you don't eat any dairy, oil, fat, or meat for breakfast or lunch, just some rice and steamed vegetables. And then you don't eat anything after 2 p.m. And then this enables the bile to start accumulating in your liver. And this causes pressure that will eliminate more stones into your liver if you have them. And then at like 6 o'clock, you flood your body with a big old drink of this horrible tasting Epsom salts. And then you drink about 4 6-ounce servings of Epsom salts in water. And then you drink as much water as you can after that. And then about 8 p.m., you drink another 6-ounce serving of Epsom salts. And then at 10 p.m., you drink a cup of organic extra virgin olive oil with the juice of a whole fresh red organic grapefruit or pink grapefruit. And then you go to bed and lie down on your right side and just relax. Usually you feel a little bit nauseated, a little bit weird. And then the next day you wake up at 8 a.m. and do a bunch of coffee enemas and drink another glass of Epsom salts. And then at 4 p.m. that day, you do another coffee enema and drink another serving of water and Epsom salts. And so that's kind of like, an 8-day liver flush. So obviously you don't want to do that all that often. But it's something you want to do about, every three to 6 months or so. And that's amazing if you have liver or gallstones. That's a good way to go. So I'm going to send you a link here on how to do a liver gallbladder flush. So if you guys want details on how to do that, you can do that right there. So this is every way that you can love your liver is what we're talking about today on this Facebook Live. So, so let's talk about foods that aid liver function. Some of you guys want to consume foods that are pro-liver, that help your liver function better. So number 1, dandelion greens. So very, very bitter foods. So the liver loves bitter foods. So I eat dandelion greens on a regular basis. I love them. I think they're super, super tasty. I've really kind of developed a palate for some bitter foods, and they're kind of bitter because they have calcium in them. Greens have high levels of calcium, and that's part of the reason why they're bitter. Red lettuces also tend to be bitter because they have calcium in them. So I try to eat salads that have red lettuces in them, or go to the farmer's market and get red lettuces. And lots of interesting lettuces at the farmers markets that you don't see in the grocery stores. And then beets, of course. I love drinking beet juice. It's, kind of sugary, which I don't mind. But I eat roasted beets on a regular basis, and beet juices. I'll do like a celery, beet, ginger, lemon juice, and that's a great way to love your liver. I drink a vegetable juice every single day. I rotate it. I have a Myers juice, a Myers Detox, Love Your Liver green juice. It's mainly celery juice, but you can get that recipe when you enroll in the Myers Detox Protocol course, which we just started enrollees yesterday. We started the course yesterday with the first coaching call was yesterday. It's a 30-day course. And you can also drink lemon juice and water. So I love doing warm lemon juice in the morning. I'll squeeze some lemons and put that in water. That's a great thing first thing in the morning to help your liver kind of finish its detox processes. And especially if you're not hungry in the morning, that's usually a sign your liver isn't done detoxing. And so I give my liver space to kind of finish doing what it's doing. So if I'm not hungry, or even if maybe you wake up, you feel slightly nauseated, your liver is working overtime. So you want to respect that and not dump a bunch of food into your body, which your liver then has to deal with. You just have to listen to your body. It changes daily, but I don't eat unless I'm hungry in the morning. And I certainly don't eat if I feel a little bit nauseated, because that's my liver telling me, give me a minute to kind of finish doing what I'm doing. Also turmeric. I heavily season my food with turmeric. Turmeric is an amazing thing to love your liver, to facilitate detoxification. And so I'll make different rices with it. I'll make turmeric rice. I'll make vegetable stir fries and use a lot of turmeric. I try to use turmeric as much as possible. I juice turmeric. I'll buy turmeric root and use it in juices as well. And it's pretty strong, so you just need like a little bit of it in your juices, but it's super yummy. And then you can take turmeric supplements also. And I have like a liposomal curcumin. Curcumin is the active ingredient extract in turmeric. And so I have like a liposomal or curcumin that I'll put into my smoothies, and you can take it by itself too. And then I also have a Myers Detox Liver Lemonade. That's the Myers Detox Protocol course, the recipe for that, because I have a 30-day detox course that we offer. It's called the Myers Detox Protocol course. And we just started the first coaching call yesterday for that. But on that course, we talk a lot about how to detox your liver. And we have like a daily greens juice that we have people drink to facilitate liver detox and body detox. And the Myers Detox Liver Lemonade as well, which people drink on a daily basis. That's got lemon juice. It's got apple cider vinegar, and it's got some other things in it as well that help the liver. So why don't we go to some of your questions here. And again, I want to give you the opportunity to get some of these supplements that I talked about earlier. We're having a sale this weekend on all supplements in my Myers Detox store, 15% off with the coupon code SPRING15, all caps. So you can get liver enhancing supplements, but all the detox supplements and other supplements that we offer at store.myersdetox.com. So you can get any of the supplements I recommended. CitraCleanse, you can get milk thistle oil, which is a really unique product to enhance your liver. It's one of the only milk thistle oils I'm aware of. It's a fresh pressed organic milk thistle. It's amazing, much better than most milk thistle supplements on the market. Liver Life, which is an amazing mushroom-based supplement to enhance liver function by BioRay. Love that. And Dr. Shade's Bitters, which enhances bile production. Because the name of the game, and this is what I communicate to all the clients that I work with, we have to get you producing bile if you want to detox your body. And a lot of people aren't producing enough bile because of stress, because they're not eating the right diet. People don't, they need zinc in their diet to make digestive juices and pancreatic enzymes and other kinds of things that enhance the digestive process, which will enhance bile production. But a lot of people just aren't making enough bile, or the bile is not thin enough, so they get gallstones and liver stones and things like that. So bile production is key. You have to eat bitter foods. Oh, I forgot, coffee is a bitter food also. I neglected to mention that one. There's plenty of other bitter foods as well. There's lots of bitter herbs also, but the name of the game is bitter herbs to help enhance bile production. So let's go to some of your questions here. So Valerie, thanks for joining us. Penny, thank you for joining us as well. And David, Nancy, thanks for joining me. And so Sandy, so I won't be able to watch this at 12. Is there any way to watch it later? Yes, when I'm done talking and answering you guys' questions, you can watch this video again. It'll post to Facebook as soon as we're done. It'll load back up and will be available on facebook.com/Myers Detox, which is my Facebook page. And we also upload all of these videos to YouTube at youtube.com/Wendy Myers. So you don't have to worry if you're just tuning in now and you just missed us. You can start this video from the beginning once I'm finished and watch it from the start. But if you have any questions about your liver supplements, detox supplements, any questions whatsoever, if you have liver problems, if you have trouble doing coffee enemas or trouble with detoxification, leave your comments down below and I am going to answer them. So let's get to it. So let's see. So Keith, do you recommend eating grass-fed beef liver to support the liver? Yes, I love liver supplements like that. I'm for sure a big fan of glandulars, so liver glandulars, same thing. And I really like, there's a liver supplement in our store. It's by Allergy Research Group. It's a grass-fed liver glandular. And so that's a really, really nice one that I like because liver glandulars have all kinds of nutrients in them to facilitate liver function. And so cow livers and porcine livers are very similar to our livers. And so they have a lot of the same nutrients that our livers need. Plus they're very, very nutrient dense. They have a lot of copper, they have zinc, they have iron, and they have other nutrients that we need and that some people are deficient in. So I love, love, love liver glandulars, which is what they're called, which is basically dried liver in a capsule. Yum. So some clients definitely prefer that to eating liver. I recommend just eating liver also to enhance liver function, but some people don't like the taste of liver. So if you don't, you can just take it in a capsule. So Kimmy, so do you support, or how do you support the liver during pregnancy and breastfeeding? So when I was pregnant, I did coffee enemas. You can have 200 milligrams of coffee per day safely when you're pregnant and breastfeeding. So I think the coffee enema, you absorb much less caffeine than if you drink it orally. So doing a coffee enema during pregnancy is totally fine and especially important during that last month or two when most women tend to get very constipated and it's very, very uncomfortable. You want to be doing coffee enemas so that you're not just, number one, feeling really uncomfortable. And number two, when you're constipated, it just, you can absorb a lot of toxins back through your intestines for any fecal matter that is just staying in your system and not being excreted. That's not healthy. So it's great to be able to do coffee enemas to relieve that, because you don't want to be taking laxatives or anything like that when you're pregnant. So a coffee enema is a great way to relieve constipation and support liver functioning while you're pregnant and breastfeeding. So next question, Keith, thank you for your work. Thanks for joining us. And Keith, so can people with citrus allergy take Pectosol C? Yes, because a lot of people are sensitive, that have citrus allergy or sensitivity, are sensitive to the compounds in the oils. And so this is the actual peel of the citrus that has been very highly processed, broken down into even smaller components. So even if you have a citrus sensitivity, most people can still tolerate Pectosol C. So you just have to try it and see if you're one of the people that can tolerate it, but there isn't any contraindication with citrus sensitivity and Pectosol C or my CitraCleanse product, which is modified citrus pectin. So Patricia, did it start? I can't see or hear anything. Do you recommend liver flushing? Yes, I recommend liver flushes, and I just talked about that earlier. And there's a link to how to do a liver flush, a deep liver flush, and a kind of a more easy liver flush, 1-day liver flush, and an 8-day liver flush in that link. So JD, is your husband a pilot? So I'm not sure if that was for me. So JD, how do I detox? So that's a very good question. There's lots of different ways to skin a chicken to detox your body. I have lots of different methods and programs and supplements on myersdetox.com. And I recommend starting, if you're just looking for some super basic way to detox, to get my mitochondria detox kit. That's a great way to start because it contains a binder and like my CitraCleanse, and it also contains my activated silica, which will bind onto a lot of different metals that cause fatigue, interfere with mitochondrial function, not to mention interfere in a lot of other different metabolic processes in your body. Arsenic causes blood sugar issues, trouble losing weight, and the activated silica will get that. Aluminum causes neurological issues, dementia, interferes in neurotransmitter production. So the metals that activated silica binds onto, like arsenic, aluminum, tin, thallium, and cesium, cause a multitude of different problems in the body, including reducing fatigue and reducing energy production and causing fatigue. So the mitochondria detox, which you can get at mitodetox.com, is a great way to begin detoxing. And then if you want to graduate from there, you can start our, Myers Detox Protocol course, or do Myers Detox Protocol with a practitioner to do testing and get individualized supplement recommendations and hand-holding and guidance through your detox journey. Lots of different ways to go about that on myersdetox.com. So Barbara, so I was prescribed black walnut wormwood 2 drops a day for parasites, and my blood pressure shot up and stayed that way for about 4 to 5 weeks, and required adding a second blood pressure medication to get it down. Was that due to my liver not responding well to the black walnut wormwood? So blood pressure can shoot up for a number of different reasons. So blood pressure tends to shoot up when I think the main cause of blood pressure is lead and cadmium buildup in the kidneys. So the kidneys don't function well, don't process things well when mercury and lead and cadmium are interfering in kidney function. Then blood pressure shoots up. Blood pressure can also be caused by magnesium deficiency. One of the best ways to lower blood pressure is taking beet powder. So beet powder is shown to reduce blood pressure as effective as medication. Not saying get off your medications by any means. You want to do that in conjunction and with the supervision of your physician. But beet powder is amazing. So is magnesium to reduce blood pressure. But it's really hard to say, not knowing any of the other variables, diet and lifestyle and other emotional stressors that may have been happening at the same time as taking the parasite detox. But you may just need less of those products. but it's really hard to say. But if you test it and do a second parasite detox, maybe just take less of it and see if the same thing happens. But certainly while you're killing out parasites in your body, the parasites don't like that. So they start releasing lots of mycotoxins in your body that can definitely cause strange reactions in people. So you may just need to take it a little bit slower next time. And so Deb, thank you for joining us. So Susan, is there any way to display captions? I like to see the words when you talk. So we can't do that on Facebook Lives. But when we post the YouTube video, they usually do a transcript that you can see. And I think they translate it into several languages. So that may be an option when we post this YouTube video. So Trisha, what is good for detoxing glyphosate? So my CitraCleanse product is really good for detoxing glyphosate because it absorbs not only glyphosate, which is an herbicide sprayed on pretty much all conventional produce at this point and fruit, but it's great at absorbing hundreds and hundreds of chemicals and dozens of metals, really well researched. There's 50 university studies on this product alone, incredibly effective for glyphosate. But glyphosate, there's fiber, eating lots and lots of vegetables, organic vegetables, dandelion greens, enhancing liver function, and infrared saunas. All of these things will help to detox glyphosate. So Margaret, so how much milk thistle does one have to take? Well, that's an individually based question. So everyone's a little bit different in their ability to handle milk thistle. So what I usually recommend of the milk thistle oil from Activation Products is to take about a half a teaspoon and see how you do, which is about 7 milliliters. And then I usually will take a whole teaspoon per day, and sometimes I do it every other day if I forget. But yeah, that's about what I would take for the oil. But if it's a capsule, I forget offhand the exact dosage, but any milk thistle product that you get, you want to just read the label because every product has a different milligram amount in it. So usually if you have a product, just read and take the suggested use or dosage by the manufacturer. For the Liver Life product by BioRay, I usually have people do about 13 to 15 drops of that. But you can start with less, maybe 5 drops to see how you do, see how you react, especially people that are sensitive to supplements. You want to be cautious. You can always start low and then titrate up. So next question, Sherry. So are all of these safe with blood pressure medications? Yes, they are. So these are supplements that are going to enhance liver functioning. And so that's only going to help your blood pressure. So, but again, you can start out slow. You can start out with a very, very low dose just to see how you react. So if you know that you're really, really sensitive, start with a very, very low dose, minimum dose. You can always increase it. So Berta, is milk thistle okay to use while on hormone replacement therapy? Yes, it is. It's perfectly safe. It's some milk thistle can impact hormones to a degree, but it's not going to interfere in hormone replacement therapy. There's some, precautions for milk thistle because it can, there's precautions like if you have endometriosis or things like that are hormone related, hormone dysregulation, they're the result of hormone dysregulation. So you want to be careful with any supplement that might impact your hormones like milk thistle, but it's a very, very subtle impact. I mean, milk thistle more than anything is going to improve liver functioning, and the liver metabolizes excess estrogen. So it's going to improve the ability of that to occur, to take estrogens that your body needs to recycle and then get them back into circulation. It's kind of a simplified, explanation of that. But milk thistle will enhance that process. But you just want to be careful if you do have any estrogen-related disorders like endometriosis or ovarian cysts. So Ryan, so we need a closed end radiator flush system to hook up to blast it all out. Okay, I'm not sure if that's for me. So Keith, can you put Dr. Shade's bitters in capsules? Yeah, you can. You can. It's a liposomal product. You can put it in your mouth. If you don't like the taste, you can certainly put it in the capsules, close the capsule, and swallow it. No problem. Keith, so are there any side effects to liver detox? When would you stop or adjust a protocol? So the only side effects to liver detox are that, you know, sometimes that people's livers are really not functioning well. You can certainly feel nauseated. You can feel headachy. You can get rashes. You know, especially if you've never done any kind of liver detoxing before, you might experience some symptoms, but you know, that's part of the program. I mean, you have to, once you start getting your liver functioning and you start processing all this stuff a little bit better, enhancing liver functioning, you're probably going to notice some changes, and they can be good or negative. Usually when you first start detoxing, people can have a little dip in how they feel before they start feeling better. You know, you've heard that you have to feel worse before you get better. That can hold true with liver detoxification as well. So sometimes, for instance, I'll do a coffee enema and I just feel amazing. I feel like $1,000,000. And other times I do it and I'm like, I don't feel all that great. I'll have low blood sugar, or I'll feel a little bit nauseated or tired or whatnot. And that's just, you know, the same thing happens when I do infrared sauna. Sometimes I'll feel amazing afterwards and relaxed, and other times I just feel kind of a little bit nauseated and don't feel so great. But you know, every day is different, and you know, when your body rather is processing a lot of different toxins that you've mobilized from different supplements and protocols that you're doing, be it for liver detox or body detox, sometimes you're not going to always feel amazing afterwards. And it takes your body a little while to process this stuff, your liver to break it down and filter it, your blood to your kidneys to filter things from your blood and urinate them out. It takes your body a little time to catch up, and you might not feel so great during that process, but you know, it's a small price to pay for health. And so when would you stop or adjust a protocol? So typically when you're detoxing, be it your body or liver, if you feel really bad, just stop what you're doing. You know, when you're detoxing, you maybe want to feel a little bit bad, or maybe you feel tired, you need to rest. But if you feel really ill, really sick, then that means it's time to stop everything you're doing, allow your body to recover, and then start again slowly. So when you're detoxing, I want people functioning. I want you to still be able to go to work, still be able to, you know, do your activities. But if you do detox and you take supplements or infrared sauna and you're just floored, like you can't function afterwards, that's a sign that you need to work with an experienced practitioner, not do things on your own. If you have multiple health diagnoses, or you have, you know, multiple chemical sensitivity, you have severe chronic fatigue syndrome, you need to be working with a practitioner like one of our Myers Detox trained practitioners that I've trained personally to be able to navigate any pitfalls that you may have in detoxing, especially if you've tried detox things, protocols and supplements in the past and they haven't really worked out so hot for you. You need professional help. And so that's what we provide here as well for you guys. So if you are having really bad reactions, you need to stop what you're doing and get professional help. So Susan, so I have liver pain, comes and goes. Why when I do a coffee enema, and then when I have foot bath with AMD, can those trigger my liver dull pain? Okay, so I have liver pain too sometimes. I think it's part of being alive. Sometimes when your liver is struggling to keep up, or it has a big load of things that it's trying to work on, or maybe you have a little stone in there the body is pushing out. You know, we get little things stuck in our liver ducts. We can get stones in our liver ducts that are where the bile ducts are, and in our gallbladder as well. And sometimes you have like a little what's called a gallbladder. You know, like you have a little rush of bile. I forget what it's called. It's escaping me right now, but it's where the gallbladder will excrete some bile. And that can cause like a little pain or a little dull ache. Sometimes when you eat foods that you're sensitive to, that can cause inflammation in the liver. Any kind of inflammation will cause a dull ache or dull pain. So I just assume my liver, is struggling a little bit, or there's some inflammation going on for various reasons that is causing that pain. So when you have that, it's good to do a coffee enema, but that's not always automatically going to reduce the pain or relieve the symptoms, but it's the step in the right direction. Sometimes you need to do a second coffee enema or even a third, or give yourself some liver enhancing supplements, but sometimes you just have to let it pass and drink a ton of water and maybe some lemon water to help the liver along. Go to bed early, rest, and support your liver as much as you can. And so when you also have a foot bath by AMD. So that's the Ion Cleanse AMD foot bath. So this is a foot bath where you're putting your feet in some water with some salt and electric current. That's a great detox remedy. We have the Ion Cleanse by AMD in our Myers Detox store, because those are shown in research to increase the output of toxins in your urine for 2 to 3 days after doing an ionic foot bath. And so it's not that the toxins are coming out in the water, even though that's what people think is happening. That's not what's happening. The toxins are increasing the output through your urine 2 to 3 days after that foot bath. So while your body is processing all those toxins in your urine, you might not feel so great. So that can cause dull liver pain as well. And that may be what you're experiencing. So John, thanks for joining us. So will infrared saunas detox the liver? So no. So what the infrared saunas do is they help the liver, because when you're excreting toxins through your skin, you are saving the liver from having to do that. So it's facilitating your liver by almost like the skin is one of the, your biggest organ, your biggest detox organ. And when you're excreting toxins through your liver, your liver doesn't have to do that. So it helps the liver in that way. And so, but it also can compromise liver function, and so to speak, because the infrared rays penetrate your body, they heat you up, they facilitate the release of toxins from fat cells, from toxin storage sites in the body, dump all the stuff into the bloodstream. Some gets out through the skin, but some the liver also has to process as well. So it will, kind of cause the liver to have to work overtime, which is fine. That's its job. But sometimes that can make people tired while their body's processing all that stuff after an infrared sauna. I don't know about you guys, but I get a little tired after an infrared sauna because my body is dealing with all this stuff. So Ryan, do you suggest taking binders at a specific time prior to doing the coffee enema to catch all the stuff dumped by the liver? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And you don't have to do that, because the coffee enema improves bile secretion. So it facilitates the excretion of bile. It increases glutathione production, and all of these things help to detox your body. But it's also smart to take a binder at some point in the day before doing a coffee enema. When you take something like my CitraCleanse binder, it's a modified citrus pectin, this stays in your bloodstream for 12 hours. So that's really, really helpful. So if you take that in the morning, typically you're doing a coffee enema, in the morning or afternoon. So that's still in your bloodstream if you're doing a coffee enema in the morning or afternoon. But you can also take any kind of binder 30 minutes before a coffee enema to enhance cleaning of the bile when you're doing a coffee enema. But you can take other binders as well. So next question, Mackenzie, thanks for joining us. So I need mold metal detox. What tests should my functional medicine doc do to show liver function and support? You have kidney disease. So what detox limitations, cautions, etc. So I would really just ask your functional medicine practitioner. Every functional medicine doctor and conventional doctor is so different in the different types of tests they do and the labs that they use. So it's really hard to make a recommendation because there's so many different types of liver tests. I used to offer liver tests in my store that showed all the different types of, it tested glutathione, glucuronidation, caffeine metabolism through the liver. And it was a really a great test, but unfortunately was only offered in Australia, and that lab stopped offering it. So in the United States, it's really weird. They'll pump you up with Vicodin and all kinds of drugs, but they don't allow caffeine liver testing. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's paracetamol liver testing. So that's acetaminophen. So for some reason, they don't allow testing with Tylenol to see how well your liver is metabolizing the acetaminophen, which is also Tylenol. So that's a test to test liver function, how well your liver is metabolizing this drug through the liver. Unfortunately, your functional medical doctor will be the best person to figure out what tests you need to do. I find that the liver enzyme tests that most conventional medical doctors do is helpful to indirectly to look at liver functioning, but it's really, that gives really no, that's a sign of liver inflammation. It really gives no indication whatsoever of your liver's ability to detox or genetic issues with phase 1, 2, and 3 liver detoxification. So the only way to find that out is with doing a 23andMe test and finding out what genetic SNPs are not working for you, the MDR2 and MRP1 and 2, and testing that will give you some indication of liver functioning. But other than that, some direct function tests, you'll have to really ask your doctor about that because there's such a big range of testing out there. So Mary, so I'm very sensitive to caffeine. Is that a problem with coffee enemas? So very good question. So you can still do coffee enemas, but it's just like anything. If you're sensitive, you've drastically reduced the dose. Okay, so I do 2 big heaping tablespoons of coffee, and I actually just use my old coffee grinds. I just take the old coffee grinds and dump those in some water and then just excrete everything I can out of those grinds and then use that for my coffee enema. So I'm like recycling my coffee that way. But for you, if you're really sensitive, you may only need like a little 1/4 teaspoon of caffeine. You only need the amount of caffeine or coffee that's going to produce a detox effect for you. And so we don't want you anxious and wired and jittery after doing a coffee enema as a result of the caffeine in your system. So if you're super sensitive, only use a tiny little bit of coffee, and you can always increase as you increase your tolerance. But you only need enough caffeine to give your body that detox effect. And so that may be very, very little for you. Yeah, the Epsom salt. So Ryan, yeah, the Epsom salt mixture is rough. Yeah, it's not fun. I don't love drinking the Epsom salt mixture when doing the liver flush, but it's a really key part of flushing your liver out, and it works really, really well and really essential for anyone struggling with liver function or that has liver stones or gallstones. It's good to flush that out. And so Susan, I cannot tolerate sulfur, for example, Epsom salt. How to do the liver flush for someone who cannot tolerate sulfur? So the Epsom salts are magnesium sulfate. So they are sulfur, and some people do not tolerate sulfur compounds, sulfur supplements, sulfur foods. And ironically, some people genetically just don't handle sulfur very well for various reasons. But as you become more and more toxic, some people, have a less and less ability to handle sulfur because it causes a detox reaction, which makes them feel sick. Like, for instance, if you eat a meal that has tons of garlic in it, some people can be very nauseated afterwards because it's really, your body's taking that sulfur and your liver's taking that and going to town, detoxing you, and you don't feel good afterwards as a result of that. So that's part of the explanation there of what's happening. But if you don't tolerate sulfur, then that liver flush, the Epsom salts, is not for you. I mean, you have to do what works for you. So that liver flush may not work for you, so just do coffee enemas instead. So, Margaret, shouldn't you do a kidney cleanse before a liver cleanse to make sure kidneys can handle the cleanse? So everyone's a little bit different. I think I'm not huge on kidney cleanses. I mean, I think if you drink lots of green juice and you're drinking like beet juice and just generally living a healthy lifestyle, most people have pretty good kidney function. I mean, if you know that you have poor kidney function, yes, it may be warranted to do a kidney cleanse. The Global Healing Center has a nice little kidney cleanse kit that's nice that you can use if you're concerned about that. But generally, I don't really worry about that too much. So Ryan, so you can also use sea salt, etc. That's a good option too if you want to do the liver flush. If you don't tolerate Epsom salts, the magnesium sulfate in the Epsom salts, you can use sea salt. Ryan's saying the purpose is to open up capillaries and flush out anything before you take your final drink of lemon and olive oil at bedtime. You want to get out as much debris prior to going to sleep and taking the mixture. So the next day you will see the results of the liver flush, not your Del Taco from the day before. Yeah, hopefully we're not eating Del Taco here, but you get the point. We want you flushing out your body, flushing your system out so that when you drink the olive oil, you're flushing out those stones and your liver is not handling any fat or any meat or any kind of foods you've eaten. So Keith, are there options other than lemon juice? I tried it once and got sick afterwards. Suspected citrus or histamine allergy. Would the citrus issue go away after detoxing for a while? So food sensitivities come and go. So you can be sensitive to a food at one point, and when you avoid it for long enough, the immune system may stop, reacting to it, or it may not. I mean, just the food sensitivities thing is exasperating for a lot of people. So it just really, everyone's an individual. There's no hard and fast rules there. You just generally want to avoid foods that you're sensitive to so you don't cause inflammation reaction in your body. So if you're sensitive to lemon juice, then you would just skip that part of the liver flush. Let's see. So let's answer some other questions. So Keith, can you do liver detox along with other detox at the same time? Yeah, so usually when you're thinking about doing a detox, you need to clear out your detox pathways. So if your liver isn't functioning very well, we need to get your liver on board. That's why I love coffee enemas. If your lymph, which helps to drain toxins, isn't working well, we need to get your lymph working. So I love dry skin brushing to do that. I love walking, mild exercise, rebounding, any kind of mild exercise gets your lymph flowing. We talk about that in my Myers Detox Protocol course. So all those things are really important to clear your detox pathways prior to starting a detox. So Allison, so curious about sulfur sensitivity too, also pectin sensitivity. So not many people are sensitive to pectins, but there's someone out there that's sensitive to something. But I find, 98% of people tolerate my CitraCleanse modified citrus pectin just fine. It's all natural. It's babies can even take it. Most people don't have a problem with it, but invariably some people will. There's always going to be somebody that has a problem with it. So if that's you, you just have to take a different binder. So Patricia, so can we do coffee enemas even when having diarrhea? So yes, you can do coffee enemas for having diarrhea. Because sometimes people have diarrhea because they're making too much bile. Most people have diarrhea because They maybe they have a bacterial infection from food. Some people have IBS, but you can still do coffee enemas even when you are having diarrhea, because the coffee enemas are really about cleansing your liver, not your colon. But again, you have to listen to your body and what you feel is working for you and feels good. Let's see. So Keith, can teen and preteens use the detox products? Yes, they can. So a lot of teens are eating terrible diets, born with toxins, absorbing toxins just like we are as adults, if not more so, because typically their diets are pretty bad. So yes, never too early to start on detox supplements or liver enhancing supplements if you can get them to agree to it. So good luck with that. So Ellen, how do coffee enemas affect one's system if highly sensitive to caffeine? So I answered that earlier, so just listen to the broadcast earlier. So do you take the silica and pectosol at the same time? No, you do not. With my Citra Cleanse modified citrus pectin, you want to take that by itself with nothing else, and then 30 minutes to an hour later, you can take the activated silica or any other supplement. So the Pectosol C or active or Citra Cleanse, you want to take that by itself. And so, Barbara, how do you know if you need a liver detox? Well, there's a lot of different symptoms people can have. They can have fatigue. They can have hormonal imbalance. They can have resistant weight loss, where you have trouble losing weight or feel like you gain weight too easily. If you have too much estrogen because the liver isn't processing and recycling your estrogen properly, weight gain or resistant weight loss can be a sign of that. If you have frequent nausea, if you have headaches, if you have multiple chemical sensitivity, brain fog, these are generalized symptoms that can be attributed to a lot of things, but they can also be a sign that you need a liver detox. Also, night waking, people that wake up at 3 a.m., like on the dot, that's a sign your liver needs a little helping hand too. So Sandy, thanks for joining us. Thank you. You're on every Facebook Live. I love you. Thanks so much for joining and engaging with us. Keith, so do you take Megaspore and supplements away from the detox products? Yeah, so the only thing you have to do is with the Citra Cleanse, take that by itself. Everything else you can take together at the same time, but just the Citra Cleanse, you just want to take that by itself. And other things about 30 minutes to an hour away from that. So Susan, do you recommend Pectosol C for liver cleansing? Yes. Well, it's not for liver cleansing so much. It's more for blood cleansing of toxins, because half the toxins are detoxed by the liver, half get dumped into the blood for the kidneys to deal with. So my Citra Cleanse helps to clean the blood for 12 hours after you take it, and then you urinate out through the kidneys all the toxins the liver didn't get. So it doesn't do liver cleansing. It helps to get all the toxins the liver doesn't. So it's kind of like a partner with liver enhancing supplements. So I'm so sorry. I do have to go now. I'm so sorry. There's a lot of other questions here I wasn't able to get to. So one question I want to talk about. So Pectosol C has a cancer warning. So is it safe to take? So that warning is called Prop 65 warning. We have an article on my site, myersdetox.com/Prop 65. And I give my not so positive opinion of the Prop 65 warning label that's on a lot of supplements. I think it's BS for the most part, because it completely, there's a lack of understanding of metals in supplements. When you test for a supplement, just because a supplement contains a metal doesn't mean that metal gets into your body. So for instance, there's a Prop 65 warning on a lot of different supplements, but the amount that's in those supplements is so small that cucumbers and lettuce and kale also would warrant a Prop 65 label, because all of those vegetables and things also have lead in them, because the soil has lead in it from leaded gasoline that was used for decades. So While so the Prop 65 basically is for lead. It's trying to warn consumers about lead amounts in supplements. But the problem is food and meat is full of lead also. Bone broths are full of lead. But do those have a Prop 65 warning? No, they don't. So it's almost, I feel like, is a scam. There's a lot of products that get a Prop 65 label warning that shouldn't. But it's almost like it's a way for the FDA to steer people away from supplements and into their doctor and then taking drugs. I frankly feel like Prop 65 is a scam. And so I don't really look at that as some sort of warning that's helping me in any way. There's certainly some products maybe that are made in China or India that do definitely warn the Prop 65 label, that do have dangerously high levels of lead. But there are some supplements like zeolites or like modified citrus pectin, things that are binders that when tested in a laboratory contain lead and may just not meet that requirement to avoid a Prop 65 warning. But the lead is bound up. It's bound up in the modified citrus pectin. It's like pectosol C. It's bound up in the zeolite structure, but it doesn't get into your body because it's bound up. There's a lot of greens powders also that have Prop 65 warning labels, but the boron in those, that's a mineral, is so tightly bound to the lead, it's not going to get into your body and deposit. So that's called, there's a binding capacity there. And so that's a factor that doesn't play into that Prop 65 warning. Lots of clays have tons of aluminum and lead in them also, but they're bound, they're not getting into your body. So the Prop 65 warning is something you kind of have to heed with caution, especially when it comes to binders. I don't worry about Prop 65 warning on any kind of products that are considered heavy metal binders. So hope that clears that up. If you want to read any more about that, myersdetox.com/prop65 and why I think that is BS. So I'm so sorry. I do have to go. It's been a joy talking with you. We would talk for about an hour and 15 minutes. So thanks for joining on these Facebook Lives. We'll be here every single week. We're going to be doing about 1 or 2 of these a week. So stay tuned and I will talk to you guys soon. Again, if you've missed any part of this broadcast, just wait a couple minutes after we're done here and the video will pop up again on facebook.com/myersdetox. And we also will post these on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Wendy Myers. Please go there and subscribe. And it's lovely speaking to you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. It's here in Southern California. It's beautiful and sunny outside. Can't wait. I just got a new electric bike. So I'm going to be going for a bike ride all weekend. Hopefully this afternoon, I'm going to go for a little bike ride and on Sunday. But on Saturday, I'm going to be taking my family to 9th, I think it is. So anyways, thanks for tuning in and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful weekend.